Okay, Robert, let's get started. Very, very clean dial. Dial date is 2/6, and I believe that is 1 month after your caseback date, which is fully consistent with what we know about the numbering scheme. To make it so you can actually see that, perhaps. 2625. Ooh. Okay, Robert, that is the deconstruction of the movement. We have some jeweling to do. We're going to jewel your arbor port here and in your train bridge here. We're going to look at all the components very carefully, check all your jewels, check everything out, make sure everything's clean and not cracked and not too rough. Just kind of go over everything with a fine-tooth comb, and then we'll go to the cleaner, and then we'll be ready to reconstruct. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, Robert, everything has been cleaned, jeweled, pre-lubricated, inspected, and we are ready to reassemble. So let's get to it. I forgot to mention, this is your newly installed lower mainspring arbor port jewel, which is here, and I'll show you the upper when we put the bridge in place. Okay, that's looking nice and vigorous. Let's go ahead and put it on the Timegrapher and see how we did. Okay, well that's a nice strong start. Let's go ahead and get this tuned a little bit. All right. Well, that's pretty well where I want to be. We're gonna let this sort of find its happy spot and just kind of let it roll. See how it does. But I'm happy with that. Mid 230s. A little bit of variability, but I think that's just lubrication moving its way around. It's a good runner. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, Robert, well, the movement has settled down nicely into a good rhythm. It's running excellent, so it's time to finish our process. All right, Robert, that is the end of the movement service. I think everything came out really great. We're gonna move on to your dial and hands and get things back into your rebuilt case. So, we will be back. Okay, Robert, we are back in the case, ready to put the final pieces in place. And there it is. There is your lovely 1972 6139 6002. I would call this an Oceania, Australasia, whatever variation on the 6139 Pogues. The silver dials were essentially, to that part of the world, and the 6002 designation is, of course, not the North American. You see those from South America and from the rest of the world outside of Japan. This is just a beautiful example. It's a really great watch. Came out stunning. We left everything cosmetically completely alone, even down to the crystal. This is a really original watch. I mean, you have the original bracelet and the original end links, and I think even down to the original spring bars, which is pretty incredible. I don't think this watch saw a lot of time being worn. I mean, it was worn. The bracelet was full of wrist material, but definitely not abused. And it was in great shape. The movement itself took to service really well. Everything came out fantastic. There was a little bit of water intrusion, as you've noted. Nothing of any consequence, though, in terms of the internal parts. I think it just represents itself extremely well. It's a pretty watch, and it just looks good. I mean, and everything functions exactly, of course, as we expect. We'll go through the manual day and date change. There we go, a little red Sunday there. Roman red Sunday. And I was able to straighten out your day disc to make sure that's the way it's supposed to be. So everything looks really, really nice. And there we go. All right, let's see what's coming home with the watch, other than the bracelet and all the other components. We've got some old seals here. We've got a remnant of your crown seal in here. They are hard plastic, so they basically shatter when I take them off, and your pusher seals are dust on the floor at this point. So they are not going to be coming home, but they've been replaced, of course, with new Seiko replacements. So you'll get your old case seal. This is your bushing that is now replaced with a jewel in your mainspring arbor port. And you got another piece of the crown seal there. And that is really it for return, other than your beautiful Stellux bracelet and your end links. I'll put those on before it comes home. So yeah, I always recommend for folks to preserve these watches as long as you possibly can. You can run the chronograph all you want. It's actually a better state of running because it's now running with a jewel. When you turn it off, it's sort of running on a friction kind of situation. But try not to reset the watch in this position. So start and stop all you want, that's okay. But reset should probably occur somewhere between 5 before the hour and 5 after the hour, or after midnight. For the sweep hand. And what that does, it just limits the amount of torque. It's a pretty abrupt reset when the hammer comes and hits the heart on these wheels. It really puts a lot of force on this hand and on the wheel itself. So I try and just get it as close to midnight as possible and just say reset. And then it's perfect. Okay. Robert, thank you very much. It's been really fun to work on this watch. I don't see these often, and so every time I get a chance to actually work on one, I'm really excited to do it. And thanks for trusting me with it, and thanks for watching.